Alright, yeah, and welcome back to some more Magic Duels. This week we're going to take a look at a very fun deck called Drake Discard. So this was submitted to us by a subscriber, but unfortunately I couldn't actually find the email that you sent me with the deck list. So if this is your deck, then be sure to let yourself know in the comments section below and I can give you a proper thank you. But until then, thank you very much for sending the list anyway. Alright guys, if you haven't checked out the deck tech, then be sure to check it out. But without further ado, let's get into the games. See you there. Alright, this is actually a pretty decent curve. We've got turn 1 Crypt Breaker into turn 2 Wharf Infiltrator that can discard the Scrounger for a 3-2. We could probably do even better than that, to be honest. We'll decide how we want to go as and when our opponent plays their 1-drop, which is a Renegade map. Okay. Could be Abzan Revolt then, maybe. Could even just be White Weenie and thinning with the maps, perhaps. Who knows? Using Revolt in white as well to get some servos. Not a bad plan at all. So do we want to go Crypt Breaker or do I want to get the map down? I guess we'll put a threat down. We don't really need the third land just yet. And we have both of our colours. We don't have Grasp of Darkness mana. But I think we'd probably end up going Wharf Infiltrator anyway. So we may not necessarily even need the Grasp of Darkness for next turn. Okay. So you can crack his map for any colour he wants. Let's see if he's playing multicolour. I'm guessing black maybe. Yep. Alright. With a Fatal Push. Sure. It's fine by me. That actually gives us mana to get the Scrounger back as well when we go to discard it with this Wharf Infiltrator. Start generating some 3/2 tokens with that. Getting some pressure on the board and also looting at the same time. Might wish you to save the Fatal Push for this. So I'm hoping to draw a land next turn so we can actually cast a Renegade map. Ooh, Gideon. Ticking up to prevent the damage. Yeah, it needs to deal combat damage, so that's going to keep it in check. Well, there's our land. So we can go Drown Catacomb, Renegade map plus Smuggler's Copter. And then the Smuggler's Copter does the looting for us. And then the discarding side of it still triggers. So there's no way you can escape that with Gideon here. And we'll play our map for the 4th mana. Of whatever colour we need. Probably just a double. Actually, we've got doubles of everything, so yep, let's pass. So it was Abzan. Goes into Winding Constrictor. Okay. And then Obsessive Skinner gets to put 2 counters on something. Just don't put it on the Constrictor just yet, because we might want to grasp it, and we can't do that if he does. Then again, we might be able to get him with our Infiltrator if he doesn't put it there, which, there we go. So we can still never away the Constrictor. Is he ticking up to come and attack? No, he's going to undo the Smuggler's Copter's damage. Okay. We get a Macabre Waltz. So how do we want to do this? We'll crack this for a land. Might as well do that now. Make our land drop for the turn. So we can crew up the Smuggler's Copter. Swing for 0, effectively. Pay 2 to make a 3-2 with the Wharf Infiltrator, and then we still have 2 mana open to exile the Crypt Breaker and bring back the Scrounger. Seems good to me. Okay, so let's loot. Yes, please. Ooh, Orrery. Doesn't really help us right now. Let's discard the Scrounger. Scrounger triggers the Infiltrator. We pay 2 to make a 3-2. And then we can, on his end step, exile and get the Scrounger back. And we've got quite the board state then. We can also keep up Grasp of Darkness if we need to. We've got 2 card types, Artifact and Instant in his graveyard. Good to know. Hopefully he don't make me regret not killing this Winding Constrictor. As he could play Verdurous Gear Hulk, which will force us to target that instead. Oh. That's interesting. Block and try grasp it. Blossoming Defense, maybe. If he has nothing, then he loses his Constrictor and we keep our 3-2. His Constrictor is very, very powerful if left alone on the board. Anguished Unmaking. What's he going for? Going for our token? Going for our Infiltrator. Huh. It's probably a smart move. Well, he loses his Constrictor. He's down to 1 card in hand. And he's gonna make sure the Copter's got no combat damage to be dealt. So we can Scrap Heap, crew up the Copter to loot away the Prized Amalgam. We could just cast the Prized Amalgam as well. Yeah, let's just cast the Prized Amalgam. Use it to crew up the Copter. And then we'll go to combat. Swing at Gideon. Swing at our opponent for nothing. Might as well loot away the land. See if he wants to block a 3-2 to keep his Gideon alive. Well, keep his Gideon up at higher total. He doesn't. Can't say it particularly matters what his loyalty is, as long as it's not 0. He can do all of the things on Gideon anyway. Another Skinner. Let's put a 1/1 counter on something. Is it another creature or is it... No, it's on any creature. Okay. So he could put it on itself. Collective Effort, that's Delirium enabled. You can only put counters on themselves as well. So he gives them all a good pumping. And make sure the Copter doesn't deal combat damage. Are you putting both counters on the Skinners, or are you making them all into a 4-4 and a 3-3? Oh. That we can punish. So the copter doesn't deal combat damage. We can never the 5/5 so that we can swing at Gideon. If we get the Haunted Dead in our graveyard from the loot, we can enable the Orrery, but our opponent's also kind of in Orrery territory right now. Really, we should just add an extra land, because we could land Scrounger, use the Scrounger to use the Copter, and then still have Never open to kill his 5/5. Instead, we're going to probably have to force a trade for either his Skinner or his Gideon by going Never on his 5/5. Swinging with both creatures. And see if he wants to trade with our 3/2. Or loses Gideon. Loses his Gideon. Okay. That's fine. Can we, No, we can't take Delirium offline with our return. Unfortunately. Oath of Ajani. That put a counter on every creature? It does. Makes Planeswalkers cheaper. So that goes up to a 4/4. He loses it with our Fatal Push. Beautiful. So, Fatal Push away the Skinner. He's got nothing left. We'll then Scrounger, get rid of the Crypt Breaker. Crew with the Scrounger. Swing for 9. And loot as well. And he's had enough. Alright, we will dump... Could dump this Haunted Dead. Yeah, let's dump the Haunted Dead. You get it back for 2. And use the spirit that it generates to crew the Copter. Draws and has nothing by the looks of it. Nothing you can use right away. Ruthless Sniper. Okay. Discard 2 cards. Sniper. And the Waltz. Get back a Haunted Dead, play a Smuggler's Copter. Crew up this Smuggler's Copter with that Spirit token. And swing for 12. Might as well loot. Get rid of that. And that should be game. Awesome. Alright, let's go on to another game. Alright, we're in. We've got 4 lands. Ruthless Sniper for turn 1, the Infiltrate for turn 2, and then we've got a Daredevil we can actually loot away. Because we can get it back later. I think this is a perfectly keepable hand. Opponent leads off with a Renegade map. It looks very similar to the previous match. We'll see. Okay, so we're going to go with Prize Amalgam as well. Nice. Ruthless Sniper coming down. Going to be able to ping off anything we don't like later down the line. Being able to put -1/-1 counters on things is quite useful, as it turns out. So, Crax's map. We're going for a swamp. Forest. Oh. Okay. So, is this a Revolt deck then? Or is he just going to pass? Just passing, apparently. Okay. We draw Haunted Dead. Not too bad at all. Go with our island, swing for 1. And then we'll play our Infiltrator. I'm liking our hand now. 3 different discard options. With an Infiltrator that can generate us 3 2s when we discard them. Let's just see if we can actually swing in with this Infiltrator, because it does have Skulk, which means he's going to have to put down a 1 power creature in order to block it. And a Gideon. It does need to deal combat damage, that is one thing. So he might be able to undo some of that. Huh. Just going to make it into a creature. That's a 0 ability, right? Maybe a misclick? Huh. Oh dear. I guess that's a shame scoop. Okay, well, let's swing in at Gideon then. This has to do it to a player. So we'll have to spread the love a little bit. So swing. Trigger. Say yes. Ooh, Daredevil. Let's get rid of the Haunted Dead, since we have 2 things to discard that we can get back later. Get rid of the Haunted Dead. Don't want to put a -1/-1 counter on anything. We can pay 2 to make a 3/2. And pass the turn. Makes the emblem for Gideon. Very odd choice. And then a Pious Evangel. Can't block the Infiltrator. Neither can Githyon. Alright. And a Grasp of Darkness. How do I want to go about this? I think we'll play the Drownyard Temple. Should still make our land drops, even though it is a discard option, because we've got plenty of discard options anyway. And then we can swing in with the Wharf Infiltrator and the Eldrazi token. Maybe force a trade here, then we'll discard, pay 2 to get another 3/2, and then pay 1 to kill Kithian. Yeah, I think the he sees that line of play. Well, still doing it. Ooh, Scrounger, eh? Well, we can discard the Daredevil then. Since the moment we play that Scrounger, we're going to get the Daredevil back. Pay for that, pay for that. Pass the turn. So we're in a pretty decent state right now. By no means a victory, but there you go. Because he can just tick up on our Infiltrator now, and he can stop that pretty much from happening. Just going to swing in with his Evangel. I'm going to block. He might have a trick, but if he has a trick, then that's another card out of his hand. Heron's Grace Champion, +1/+1 and lifelink to every other creature, so he trades off a token. Okay, I'm still fine with that. And then he ticks up on the Infiltrator. Crypt Breaker. Well, what we can do is we can go Haunted Dead, discard Prized Amalgam and Oval Chase Daredevil. And then do I want to pay to make that a 1-1? Or even pay to make a 3-2? Because the Daredevils in our graveyard mean that we just play the Scrounger and we get them both back to discard later. We don't have anything in our graveyard after the Haunted Dead to discard, and we're going to get Prized Amalgam back as well. Yeah, I think we'll make it tiny. So we start swinging through. Let's not pay the 2. Make it a 1-1 instead. That comes back. Amalgam triggers for our end step. And now we get to swing at Gideon. Take him down to 2 or even just trade. It's like we're going to 2. Okay. And then Amalgam. Lovely. Won't mind a land drop. Land drop would be lovely. Because a land drop means the Archfiend. And then we can start discarding with lots of things then. Takes up on the Haunted Dead. Don't really agree with that, but we'll see. When it attacks or blocks other humans you control, get +1/+1. Okay, bear that in mind. And Nature's Way. Ah, we fight the Infiltrator there. That's fair enough. And there's our land drop. So we can grasp, kill the captain, play the Scrounger, get back to Daredevils, and even play the Crypt Breaker then as well. Can we play the Crypt Breaker? Yeah, we can. Alright, kill that. Scrounger gets back our Daredevils. Should probably do this post-combat, but it doesn't really matter. Bring back the Daredevils. Play Crypt Breaker as our discard outlet for the Daredevils. And get them straight back later down the line. And then, what did you tick up on? Oh, you ticked up on the Haunted Dead. Okay. So, swing, swing, and swing. Gideon dies or he trades off a champion. Yep, okay. Gideon goes to 1. And then we can take down Gideon next turn and we can start swinging at his life total. Being able to discard once the Archfiend's down on the board as well. It's just going to pretty much be a board wipe every turn for our opponent. Ticking up on the Scrounger. And then his 2-drop, Dustwatch Recruiter. And the Smuggler's Copter. So we could also just discard with Crypt Breaker, discard the Daredevil for 2. Pay the 1 to make that a 1/1. Alpha Strike. Looks lovely. Yeah, let's do that. Discard Daredevil. Give that a -1/-1 counter. Pay. Yes. Make a 2/2. And then let's go to combat. That doesn't do combat damage, so Swing. Swing, swing, swing. Gideon dies short of a combat spell here. Nope. Alright. Down goes Gideon. 2 health down for our opponent as well. Not. Am I going to play this Smuggler's Copter? Yeah, let's play the Smuggler's Copter, because next turn we can Archfiend, while it's summoning sick, use it to crew up the Copter, discarding a Daredevil, and then we can kill and destroy his blockers for free with those -1/-1 counters. Pays 3, looking for a creature. Finds a Heron's Grace Champion. Not going to help you this early on, unfortunately, this late on, should I say. Land, and do you have another 2-drop that's not got 1 toughness? Because 1 toughness means that it dies. If he's holding up like Blessed Alliance as well, it's still not really going to do him much good, because we can just get rid of a 1/1 flyer or anything like that. At this point, probably the Ruthless Sniper, since Archfiend does exactly what he does, but to everything on our opponent's board for free. Super good if it can stick around. Could have like Reprisal or something like that though. He does actually flip his Recruiter, which means he's going to have a 1/1 on the board. We're going to cast this. And we're going to crew it up. I'm going to swing with everything that has either flying or 2 toughness. Because we loot right now. Discard the Daredevil. Trigger we won't use, but we will use the Archfiends, turning it into a 1/1. And he's forced to chump. Down to 10. We've got protection from board wipes at this point as well, because we've got Macabre Waltz to get back creatures, and we've also got Drake Haven to just stick loads of drakes onto the field and rebuild our board. That's dead. Yeah, he needed something with a little bit more toughness. He does have the hero, but won't do him much good. Alright. He passes. Sanitarium Skeleton. Alright, well, we are going to go Macabre Waltz, pull these back. Discard the skeleton. Don't even have to pay, because we get a counter from the Archfiend, and then crewing up with the Copter, the loot on that on the attack step is going to be enough for us to kill the blocker. And that should be it. Discard the Daredevil. No targets. Archfiend triggers. Wipes his board. Even if we didn't have enough attackers. Is over. Alright, not bad. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's episode. So if you did enjoy the content, then be sure to like and subscribe. It's a great way to support the channel for free, so I do appreciate that. And if you want to get notifications when the next videos go live, then be sure to hit that bell icon as well, right next to the subscription button, and you'll get a little pop-up everywhere whenever I make new videos. So if that's something that interests you, go right ahead. Alright guys, I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.